Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this. Big news of the last week in college basketball was none other than Bob Huggins. On Friday night, about 10 days ago, he got pulled over for a DUI. We all know the story by now. He blew up .21, and it ended up costing him his job. They hired.
How hammered is .21?
Very hammered.
That's hammered.
Very hammered. Yes.
I've never taken a breathalyzer test, so I have no idea.
That's probably like blackout, borderline blackout.
Is it really?
Blackout. Yeah. Wow. He didn't know what city he was in. He didn't know what city he was in. But look, we don't have to rehash the details. I do want to talk about this though. Josh Eiler was hired to replace him. Tio, I'll go to you first. Where you stand on West Virginia's decision to bring in an assistant coach? Has been with the program for more than a decade, and where are you on Bob Huggins and his career ending?
I'll start with the coaching thing first. I was a little shocked that they didn't do Everhart and have him be a part. I think part of that is they want to give a new guy a chance. Maybe Huggins had some influence there to give a guy who's been loyal for 10 years, 13 years, however long he's been there. Give him a chance to really coach. And I think that's a cool thing that the university did. The reason I'm shocked that it was him as opposed to Everhart is because Everhart's been a head coach before. And really at this point of the year, what you're really trying to do is keep this train on the tracks. Because if you look at their roster, at least before all these departures, that was a borderline top 25 roster in college basketball. And you were kind of wondering, hey, how exactly is this all going to play out? Well, now we're seeing how it's going to play out. Trey now leaving to Kentucky, and they've been able to hang on to a couple of pieces, but there's going to be a few more leave. I think that's the most surprising thing. I am happy for a young coach to get his opportunity. I think that's awesome. And then to go with Bob Huggins and his legacy and what he's done. I've talked to a couple of former players, James Flight White, for those who remember, played for him at Cincinnati. And he was one of these guys that raved about Huggins and the kind of person and kind of coach he was and how much he cared about his guys. This is a coach with a complicated situation, but this is also a coach that did a lot of good for a lot of people. That all being said, he won a lot of games. This was probably as bad of a 3-month stretch as a guy in the spotlight could potentially have, not named Charlie Sheen. So it's like one of these things where, the problem is drunk driving is never good, ever good. And a bigger problem with it is a lot of times if there was a wreck or something, it's not usually the person that's been drinking, it's the other person that did nothing. So like that's you're not just putting yourself in danger, you're putting somebody else. The comments that he made earlier this year, also fairly brutal given today's current climate. But some of these basketball coaches, they live in a hole. So like, who knows if he could really gather how much what he said mattered at the time. That all being said, it was still bad. His legacy, as far as I'm concerned, has been dampened a little bit with this end, but this is a guy who took some rough guys and put them in good situations to succeed. It's almost like he knew it was almost time to retire and he found a way to do it without him doing it, if that makes sense. And kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy of sorts. And I know you guys don't necessarily agree with me there, but I think he was getting close, and it was a matter of, how exactly is this going to work? And it's tough. Now, I do think this put a damper on his career, but giving the previous, 35, 40 years, however long he was in it, he's done a lot of good, but this last 2 months has almost been unforgivable.
Yeah, it's a disastrous end. It is an all-time fall for a legendary figure in college sports history. Because when you think about these figures, college sports is defined by coaches. Coaches define eras. They define what a school is. Whereas in the NBA, it's a player-run league. The players drive everything. When we talk college football, when we talk college basketball, you're going to start with the coaches because that coach is going to have the best shot to lead school X to success. Nobody matched their school quite like Bob Huggins matched West Virginia. There's a synonymous nature to leader and school. Had I asked you guys a year or two ago, well, do you think that West Virginia would ever grow stale of Bob Huggins and do? Of course not. You would have said, "Are you crazy?" There's no way, shape, or form that he goes out on anything other but his terms, which was coming down the pipeline. Anyways, that's what's so sad about this, Tio and Rob, is that this was going to happen at some point. He was going to retire. He could have had that dramatic walkout in Morgantown out of the tunnel for his final game, and you could have seen all his former players, whether it be West Virginia or another school. Bob's the type of guy, he's got relationships with everybody. Do you imagine the other players from other places, Cincinnati, and so on, that would have come back for him? So it's a really unfortunate, disastrous downfall, and it was sad to watch all that play out. And I hope that Bob does whatever he needs to do to get the help that he does need.
I want to say one thing, Fanny. You said that it was a little bit of an unfortunate situation. I think that there was a nature of, it was lucky in a sense. And the reason I say that is that if you're driving at 0.21, right? If you are that drunk when you're behind the wheel, if you are drunk enough that you are blowing out tires and you don't know how you blew out the tires, that you have Burger King in your car, you don't remember how you got the Burger King from 30 minutes away, that you think you are in a city that is 3 hours away, you're drunk enough to kill somebody behind the wheel. And given that he already lost a job prior to West Virginia because of getting a DUI, I think it's safe to assume that he probably didn't get arrested for DUI the only 2 times that he drove drunk, right? So he's lucky that the worst thing that happened was that he blew out a tire and he lost a job at 69 years old.
Sure.
So I do think that in a sense, Huggins is lucky that the worst thing that happened was he lost his job. Now, I do just want to say, like, his daughter, I don't know if you guys saw her rant that she posted on social media, where she basically just said, "My dad is an alcoholic." I was texting with a buddy of mine who got sober about 6 years ago, right? For a lot of different reasons. But the main one was that when he would drink, he basically just couldn't control it. And I'll read the text that he sent to me. He said, "I can confirm after lots of research that normal people don't drink like Bob Huggins drinks. Normal people don't blow a 0.21 when they are getting behind the wheel. That's not something that you're going to do if you don't have an issue with alcohol." And I can say pretty comfortably that if alcohol has caused you to lose 2 jobs, right, that paid 7 figures, if your inability to control your drinking has led you to get multiple DUIs and has basically torpedoed your career, then you have a problem with alcohol. You have a problem with drinking. So I hope that the bottom line is, to me, the bigger stain on him, Tio, is is what he said in that radio interview. Because I just think that I hope he gets the help that he needs to be able to curb the alcohol abuse, because I think that is something where a lot of us kind of have to look in the mirror and say we have part of the charm, part of what made Huggy Bear was you could sit at a bar with him and drink until 3 a.m. right? That's part of his charm. And I think it may have been something where it allowed a lot of people to enable behavior that maybe wasn't the best behavior in the world. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Our partner for today's episode is Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 during the college basketball season, and I loved the impact that it had on my energy levels. I'm a big coffee in the morning guy, but by the time that the afternoon would hit, I needed another boost. AG1 helped me tremendously, especially on those days when I didn't want to get up off the couch and go hit the gym. Their tagline is, AG1 is comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. And man, that could not be more true. It's nearly impossible to eat and drink in a healthy manner in the month of February and the month of March when you are in my business. And AG1 was exactly the supplement that I needed to improve my gut health and cover my nutritional basis for the day. I've continued that into April. I've continued that into May, and I'm going to continue that the rest of the summer. All I have to do is mix a scoop of AG1 with some water, or maybe add it into a smoothie, and I'm ready to go. Do it after lunch, and you'll be ready to go for the rest of the day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/field68. That's field 68 FIELD, the number 6, the number 8, and you can get yours now. So check it out and help support this show. Thanks. Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.